It's not a pizza topping that was listed on the menu. Deputies say they found a gun inside a pizza box during a traffic stop in Kern County, California. They also say they found drug paraphernalia, a sawed-off shotgun, and a second loaded gun. All 4 people in the car were arrested.
A carnival worker hung 30 feet in the air to protect a 12-year-old girl. The ride operator was helping a child into the cabin when a strong gust of wind sent the ride into motion. For 3 minutes, the man's legs dangled as he tried to protect the child from falling out of the ride's open door. Other fair workers got control of the stuck machinery and were able to bring them down without injuries. A bear cub had to be removed from an Alaska grocery store. Petersburg police chased a small bear through the produce section. It took a few humans to wrangle the cub safely.
Where do you want to put this thing now? Back of the truck? Back of the truck.
Wildlife officials believe the cub had been abandoned because it was small and emaciated. Because it did not have enough fat to survive the winter, Alaska state troopers said the bear had to be euthanized. Foamy canine joy. High winds from Storm Babette created thick sea foam on some British shorelines. These 2 dogs found joy while frolicking through the foam.
An American couple got quite a fright when an angry hippo charged them while they were on safari in Africa. The hippo was at a watering hole when it went on the attack, and those teeth were sunk into the metal side of their vehicle, but fortunately they were able to drive it off and get away from that thing.
What could be trapped inside that drain pipe? They try everything. A chisel, a hammer, snips, pop, there it goes. But what's under there? Aw, there it is, a furry little kitten. Free at last.
A suspected jewel thief pretended to be a mannequin and struck a pose in order to avoid cops. Police in Warsaw, Poland say the 22-year-old suspect didn't fool them. Acting the store dummy didn't keep him from now facing 10 years in jail. A spider made a home in a woman's ear. The 64-year-old told doctors that for 4 days she heard clicking and rustling sounds in her left ear. Using a suction tube, doctors removed the spider and a molted exoskeleton from her ear canal.
Renee Valdez from New Mexico has a beautiful new home that might have ghosts.
The pets have the most reaction. The one gray cat that we have, Ruth sees things in the bedroom constantly. I mean, they interrupt her, it follows her, it moves around.
Renee's son has actually seen the ghost.
And he's like, oh yeah, there's a man that I see in my room, and it's real casual about it, like it's no big deal. Like, what do you mean there's a man with a hat? He's got like an old hat, and we're all like, how do you see him? And he said he peeks in from the bathroom, it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm not scared, to which I'm like, I'm scared right now.
The occurrences are creepy, but Renee is a good sport.
If they're not bothering me, I'm gonna let it go. I kind of love him, in his own way. He's he's the icing on the cake of this creepy 1920s house that I bought.
A burglar leans over the counter and grabs $10,000 in cash from the register and then takes a handful of what looks like lottery tickets, police say. The thief was caught on camera inside a St. Anne, Missouri liquor store at 2 a.m. Police say the man was driving a stolen white 2014 Mazda 6 out of St. Louis. He was able to break into the business in the middle of the night by driving backwards into the glass front entrance, according to detectives, which in turn damaged the rear of the car. He's described as wearing a dark green hat, dark clothing, face mask, and gloves. An employee was in the store at the time and hid when he heard the burglar break in. Police say the same person is responsible for similar break-ins throughout the St. Louis area. A man runs into the convenience store, and in the time he left his truck, someone stole it, police say. This is video released of the incident because police need help identifying these 2 thieves. Anyone with information is asked to call the Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
A paddleboarder in Washington reported seeing human remains in a cave. Detectives dove in to find a beer bong with a plastic skull on top. Police say it had been stuffed full of rocks and sunk to the bottom to prank people.
Looking right at us. Hello.
Who was observing whom? Researchers from the Wildlife Conservation Society spotted a pair of humpback whales off the coast of New York. The ocean giants seem to be just as curious about them, because they say the creatures swam around the boat for several minutes and even made eye contact.
Looking right at us. Hello.
Magpies are cute, but they sure can be a pain. This bird in Alaska was quite a nuisance to a young moose trying to relax in a homeowner's backyard. Ellie Fry captured the taunting on tape.
My swings. I just got new swings.
The moose's mother eventually checked in to ensure it was okay, which calmed the magpie down.
Oh, she was like, what's going on here? Mama does not look happy.
But not for long.
I can't even follow them, they're so fast.
A GoPro caught the moment a whale collided with a windsurfer. Jason Breen was filming in the waters off of Mona Vale Beach, Australia, when a whale leaped and knocked him off of his board. The 55-year-old windsurfer believes he was saved because a piece of equipment malfunctioned. Breen says he was submerged underwater, but when the leash that attached his arm to the board broke, he was able to come up for air.
This is what $500 million in drugs looks like. The U.S. Coast Guard says it confiscated more than 33,000 pounds of cocaine and more than 12,000 pounds of marijuana in international waters. It was all offloaded in Port Everglades, Florida.
This guy is about to pet his dog. Wait, that's no dog. It's a mountain lion. Watch your fingers.
Taking plastic toys from kids. Cameras captured a suspect removing play equipment right out of the yard of a resident, according to the Oklahoma City Police Department. Authorities say the toy nabber hasn't been caught yet, and there may be a cash reward. This papyrus, which measures over 42 feet long, is a well-preserved copy of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Written as a guidebook to the afterlife, the Book of the Dead contains ancient rituals for the living to perform in order to help the deceased on the other side. The recently uncovered copy will be showcased in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Victoria on YouTube wants to know, have I covered a story that impacted me deeply? Otto Warmbier was the University of Virginia college student who went to North Korea and foolishly took a poster off a wall in a hotel or some facility where he was. Of course, the act was captured on camera, and Otto was held for whatever period of time it was. Otto eventually came home, and if you remember, he was essentially non-responsive. He was alive, but only. And when we did that story, I literally started sobbing. And the reason that impacted me so much was my second son was the exact same age as Otto Warmbier. So I could imagine being the mother of a, whatever he was, 22-year-old boy, and seeing my son like that, and it just tore me up.
Wanted, this man, who police have identified as Robert Card. He's a person of interest in the shooting deaths of at least 16 people in Lewiston, Maine last night. Dozens more were injured in the massacre.
Card is considered armed and dangerous. If people see him, they should not approach Card or make contact with him in any way.
Card is enlisted in the U.S. Army Reserve and has an active military ID, which grants him access to any military base. One of the places police say he targeted was a bowling alley. This witness was there.
I just booked it down the lane, and I slid basically into where the pins are and climbed up in the machine and was on top of the machines for about 10 minutes until the cops got there.
Schools are closed today in the area where Card is from. People are told to shelter in place as the manhunt continues.
Trick or treat, the 2,500-pound pumpkin drops, an annual tradition in Lancaster, Minnesota. There she goes.
He was capturing drone video of the fall foliage in Utah's Big Cottonwood Canyon when he accidentally captured a man proposing to his girlfriend. Now the search is on for these two lovebirds.
It's an epic showdown between boy and beast. 7-year-old Huxley Hardy Penner comes face to face with a black bear while riding a scooter. Watch as the bear approaches the boy, heading right towards him in broad daylight. Without panicking, Huxley stares the animal down, looking directly at him until the bear stops dead in his tracks. No one could predict what would happen next. Then, out of nowhere, Huxley's neighbor appears. With his arms raised high, the neighbor turns into a superhero and fearlessly approaches the animal, engaging the bear in a heart-stopping game of hide-and-seek. Watch as the neighbor relentlessly pursues the bear from behind the car until the animal finally gets spooked and goes scurrying away. Crisis averted.
Library Restaurant in Portsmouth, New Hampshire is a high-end fine dining establishment. With one small quirk, possible ghosts.
We were upstairs sleeping. It set off a motion sensor, which is actually a little white square right behind me, inside the lounge, which is 20 feet inside the building. At the very same second, you'd have this alarm triggered when this kind of odd-looking, white haze just kind of rolls by the camera.
And there's no way this detector could possibly see outside the window. No way.
Adrian and Paul get lots of visitors hoping to get a glimpse of something supernatural.
And they all talk about having these sightings and these feelings, and they feel the energy here. And we have people coming in to go downstairs and try and experience the energy. They've been coming here for generations looking for these spirits.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do. I love them.
Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming.
Authorities have finally identified remains that were found in a dumpster in Jenkins County, Georgia in 1988. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation says the victim is 26-year-old Chung-Un Kim. They say she died of asphyxiation and she was found wrapped in plastic and duct tape. They're asking for information on this case to be reported to the GBI at 912-871-1121.
A suspected armed robber had his list of demands ready on paper. This was the handwritten note police say was given to the pharmacy employees at a Florida CVS. This is an armed robbery, the note said in big letters. At least he was polite, writing, "Please follow these directions or I will shoot the closest person to me." One of the drugs he demanded was Viagra, in addition to Adderall and Xanax. Cops caught up with the suspect as he was leaving, still holding the note and all the drugs. Thomas Muse was arrested and faces several charges, including robbery.
A coyote made a mad dash across an airport tarmac. Law enforcement comically chased a coyote around the runway of California's Van Nuys Airport. Coyote sightings are common in the surrounding area, but no one knows how this animal made it all the way to the tarmac. Police vehicles eventually prompted the coyote to move toward the airport's perimeter safely, and officials say no flights were affected.
A car goes up in flames and police say it was arson. These two people on surveillance camera are responsible, police in San Bernardino, California say. One suspect breaks the passenger window and pours a liquid inside the car at a senior living center. Another suspect sets fire to a piece of paper and tosses it inside the car. Seconds later, the car is engulfed in flames. No one was inside at the time. Detectives say they recognized the male suspect from a previous felony and he was arrested. Police are still looking for the other person believed to be involved.
Oh, I'm getting to the bow cabins.
A 100-year-old shipwreck was discovered in Whitefish Point, Michigan.
We get kind of this interesting view of the bottom of the lake, and occasionally a little anomaly will pop up. Then we'll have to go back and investigate it. A lot of times it's nothing, but then suddenly you see something. You go back, you take a closer look, and when we're lucky, it's a shipwreck.
It's a big tear in the side.
The Huronton was 800 feet below at the bottom of Lake Superior.
It's just astounding. And in this particular case, this is a shipwreck that no one has seen for 100 years.
Oh, the mass is right there. It looks one of the booms is laying. I don't want to be around that.
It was a sight worth stopping for. 3 young men helping an elderly couple struggling to get to their car.
Take it easy, y'all.
Sheriff's Deputy Kenesha Carnegie was driving by at the time.
As I was sitting there, I looked to my left and I noticed these young men helping this elderly couple. So I went over to assist them. I jumped out my truck, I went over to assist them. And when I got there, they kind of had it under control, So I thought at the time they looked really beautiful. That was a nice view to see, And I stepped back and I videoed them.
Watch as they carefully lift 89-year-old Rose Grease into her car. Rose's 100-year-old husband David stands nearby. The men don't leave until they make sure the couple is safely inside.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, no problem, bro. I'm 100 years old. Yeah, 100 years old? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
A group of paddlers got some company as a herd of wild horses joined them on Arizona's Salt River. The humans struggled to slow down against the current so as not to bump into the horses. One paddler called it a beautiful and rare moment. Better late than never. A library book that was last checked out when FDR was president was finally returned.
This book looked to be ours and looked to be way overdue.
Way overdue.
It was a little shy of 90 years. We did approximate math for if it had just built to infinity, and this book would have been $6,400 about.
But that's not how it works. The fine for this one was only $5, which the library waived.
In the end of the day, we would just like to get our books back.
That's puppy speak for help. Police in Catalonia, Spain stormed a warehouse where they say puppies and cats with fake documents were waiting to be sold. They say animal traffickers bribed vets to give the animals clean bills of health. A number of dead animals were also found on the premises. Authorities say they have rescued more than 400 puppies since their operation began in 2020. A house collapsed into a river in Bolivia. Heavy rainfall caused the El Chorrito River to overflow its banks, devastating the city of La Paz. Among the damage, a bridge collapsed and schools have flooded, according to local media. A puppy with 6 legs was abandoned in a parking lot in England. The black and white spaniel, now named Ariel, was placed in a foster home by Green Acres Rescue. Veterinarians there say they are monitoring how the extra legs may affect her mobility. They certainly haven't stopped her from being cute.
Screen doors are great for keeping out critters. They just don't do a good job of keeping bears out. This South Lake Tahoe, California local had a mess on their hands after a bear broke into his home. Claps and yelling scared the unwanted visitor and it politely exited, leaving the homeowner annoyed and doorless.
We're not in Kansas anymore. Actually, this tornado formed in the sea near Turkey. It makes for an awesome sight, provided you don't get too close.
Could this be a new Banksy mural? A wall in London now bears the phrase, "Another world is possible," along with a painting some think may have been created by the famous street artist, Banksy. What do you think?
It's dramatic video. A quick-thinking store clerk snatches an infant from her mother's arms right before the mom collapses.
911, emergency, quick. Ma'am, what's going on? A girl just fell on the floor. I need help. I need an ambulance.
Rebecca Montana was behind the counter at a convenience store in Colorado when she sees that the mom has a glazed look on her face. So she puts a protective hand on the baby while trying to get the mom's attention. But mom just stares off into space. Montana quickly grabs the baby girl just as the mom falls backwards and slams her head on the ground.
I was freaking out having her in my arms.
We reunited Jessica Heinonen and baby Annabelle with the store clerk.
It scared the daylights out of me. I felt bad because she fell. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't hold her long enough.
Of course, she's a hero. I very much appreciate it. You can tell that she's a very caring, sweet person.
This little girl has a loose tooth.
Pull it.
So her sister gives her a nudge.
Oh my gosh!
That worked. Time to call the tooth fairy.
Oh my gosh, let me see it!
New York's Comic-Con is in full swing, and the cosplayers have come out to strike a pose. Marvel mavens, Mandalorians, steampunks, and this guy are strutting their stuff alongside hundreds of thousands of other beings at the Javits Center in Manhattan.
This mom is videotaping her daughter coming home from college. The whole family is eagerly waiting to greet her, even the dog. The door opens. She's ready for her grand entrance. Oops.
Wow, that's going to make for a great video.
Sure did.
This bus driver doesn't have road rage. She's trying to stop a child from getting hit by a car. Cecilia Nation Gardner is a driver with the Milwaukee County Transit System, and she was in the right place when a 6-year-old boy needed help. Officials say he wandered away from school in the middle of the day and right into a busy intersection. Cecilia risked her own safety, running into traffic to try to help the child.
We're going to call the police, okay? So we can get you home. Have a seat right here.
She was able to take him by the hand and bring him on board the bus, where she called for backup.
I have a little boy here. Can y'all send the police over here before he has to get hit by a car?
Police were able to reunite the boy with his family, and he wasn't harmed thanks to Cecilia's intervention.
Namsy410 on YouTube wants to know, what do I consider a great day? A great day is when I come here, we do the show one time, because oftentimes we will redo Inside Edition for a second feed. We had a great day, about a month ago? And prior to that, our great day was Michael Jackson was still alive. Yeah, literally, Michael Jackson was still alive the last time the powers that be thought the first take on this show was a good one. So that's a good day. A good day is also just any day, honestly. Every day is a good day. If you wake up, that's a good day. If you've got something to feel grateful for, that's an awesome day. So I think for me, every day is a great day.
Check out this little lounge singer. 7-year-old Vincenzo serenades the room with the classic Beyond the Sea, made famous by Bobby Darin. Take it away, little crooner.
A raccoon in Long Island got stuck in a sticky situation and needed assistance. Strong Island Animal Rescue League saved the wild animal after it got its head stuck in a plastic peanut butter jar, most likely as a result of someone not recycling properly. Vegetable oil was used to safely get its head out, and the not-so-happy raccoon ran off.
What is Inside Edition? It's this. And this. And this. And also this. It's sometimes this. It's never this, but it always brings you more to the story. And now it's always available. Inside Edition streaming.
This isn't an ordinary stray cat, but villagers in Turkey were happy to see it. It's a baby lynx that wandered out of the mountains and into the town. Some villagers were afraid it might attack, but others wanted to pet the cute kitty. But once a local conservation group heard about the town pet, they came in to rescue it.
Customs officials in Turkey made a gruesome discovery when they stopped 2 passengers arriving from Moscow. The pair had 4 suitcases containing over 10,000 foxtails. The smuggled animal parts were valued at over $30,000 US. Dog lovers walked the red carpet in Peru's Halloween celebrations. Puppies of all breeds wore their best fancy dress. Their strut on the carpet was judged along with originality, creativity, and how involved the dog's human family was in creating the costume. This year's winner is a Yorkie who brought her best Wednesday Addams impression. Halloween hopes to promote responsible pet ownership and adoption.
These kids watching TV don't know it yet, but there's danger in the air. Watch as the eldest, 9-year-old Tristan Cook, smells smoke. He gets up and opens the door to the den. Look, the room is in flames. Tristan leaps into action. He's persistent. His sister zooms out on her hoverboard, and the other siblings run to safety too. The whole family makes it out, but the house outside Nashville was destroyed.
Everyone came out unscathed.
I spoke to Tracy Cook and her quick-thinking son today. Tracy, did Tristan save your whole family?
Yes, he's our little hero. He was so diligent about sticking with it and saying, Mom, there's a fire.
As for Tristan's family, kiddos, what do you think about Tristan? Is he a hero?
This dog is a hero, or at least thinks he is. Watch as he does doggy CPR on a police officer. The video was released by the Madrid Police Department in Spain. It shows an agent first fall to the ground, then assume position while lying on the dirt floor. The camera pans to the black pup, who doesn't hesitate to take action. It runs over to the man and quickly starts jumping up and down on his chest. The police department says the dog practiced the life-saving action in a master way. It seems the mock demonstration was a success and clearly shows dogs really are man's best friend.
Exhibit A, why you should never ever turn your back on your kid. This busy mom is juggling a lot, getting the garage door open, keeping an eye on her 2 little ones, and of course there's the family dog to worry about. Now watch what happens. As she turns to grab her other daughter in the stroller, up and away goes 3-year-old Alexandra. Mom has no idea that Alexandra is hanging on for dear life. And when she turns around, there goes Mom to the rescue. Were you scared? I mean, you turn around, your daughter is hanging from the garage door.
It was one of those heart in my throat moments and could have ended very differently.
Take another look. Thank goodness Alexandra didn't let go. She's about 7 feet up. Say what you will, Alexandra sure has a strong grip for a toddler.
This little dancer twirled herself into the operating room.
It's your best ever.
Yes! Oh, that was a good one. I love it.
11-year-old Vivian had her tonsils and adenoids removed at the Cleveland Clinic. Rather than be rolled on a gurney, Vivian danced her way into a successful surgery.
Yep, first patient to do pirouettes all the way to the OR.
This bank in North... That guy right there. What? That's the robber. Oh, that's the robber.
During a live news report about a bank robbery, KIMT news reporter Adam Sellett was caught off guard when an employee began chasing a suspect fleeing from the bank after police say he robbed it again.
What? That's the robber. Oh, that's the robber. This is live TV, folks. That's the robber just went by, according to the bank employee. So I gotta go here and call 911.
Adam didn't realize that the same suspect police had been looking for was reportedly robbing the Rochester, Minnesota bank again during his broadcast. An hour after calling 911, police found the suspect and brought him into custody.
Yeah, this is really strange. She actually didn't run away, in my opinion. He was kind of almost jogging, but not full out sprinting away from the scene.
We guess the news reporter never suspected he'd be part of the news that day.
What?
Police are looking for a suspect who they say helped himself to donations collected at an Islamic center. It happened on Staten Island. The NYPD says the man got into the building through the rear door and took several donation boxes. A $3,500 reward is being offered for information in this case.
It took about 10 people to evacuate a 20-foot python named Nani from Illinois' Miller Park Zoo. Firefighters helped animal care experts move animals after a malfunctioning heating device sent smoke into exhibits. Unfortunately, veterinarians determined Nani needed to be euthanized because of smoke inhalation, but the zoo says every other animal in their care is doing well.
A woman walks into her home and a man with a gun tries to follow her inside. Watch again as she moves quickly, and good thing. After cops say she locks the door and the robber can't get inside, frustrated, he tears the Ring doorbell off. Police in Kent, Washington state are now looking for the gunman in connection with this attempted armed home invasion. They say it may be connected to another incident, both involving families of Asian descent.
Whoa, that's a lot of lawnmowers. The Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board recently corralled these lawn tractors to recreate a 90-year-old photo.
It was taken in the early 1930s. The park staff crew is all lined up for an annual inspection of their power mowers, which were pretty new in the early 30s.
And the result? A way to honor the parks and the people who care for them.
It's just really interesting to see how things have changed over a century.
A teddy bear exploded in front of a California business, and it was all caught on camera. San Bernardino police say a stuffed animal filled with explosives was placed in a parking lot. The toy began to emit smoke before it exploded. No one was hurt in this incident, and a suspect has been arrested. A car slammed into a New Jersey police station while authorities say blaring the song "Welcome to the Jungle" on the radio. Independence Township Police say this was done deliberately and that it wasn't this person's first crash of the day. Prior to ramming into the station, authorities believe the man also crashed his car into a private residence. The suspect was charged with 10 offenses and was taken into custody.
It's Squeaky Boy. With every breath he takes, you hear a whistle.
Where are you, Anthony? In the emergency room.
How he ended up in the emergency room is quite a story. The kid was apparently playing with one of those doggy toys and swallowed the whistle part. This is what the doggy toys look like, and when you take them apart, there's a little whistle inside, and you can see how easy it is for a kid to swallow. It's really no laughing matter, as Squeaky Boy found out in the ER.
A car theft suspect was arrested because of a rolling tire. LAPD was in pursuit of the woman driving this vehicle for almost 2 hours through streets, gas stations, and over 2 sets of spike strips. Finally, one of the SUV's tires couldn't take it anymore. It rolled down the street on its own, allowing officers to make the arrest.
Crazy. He ain't afraid of no ghost.
I'm not playing, look at this.
When Scott Denton took his children to the park in Warwick, Rhode Island, he says he saw a real-life poltergeist.
It's going faster! Look at it!
The kids didn't want to get out of the truck. They were all nervous.
He posted on social media, and since then the video has gone viral with over 6 million hits.
Recorded the whole event. The kids kind of started getting freaked out. I started getting like goosebumps on my neck.
Skeptics weighed in online with comments like, "The ghost is usually called wind, and the other swings are moving, it's the wind." But Scott says that wasn't possible.
The kids noticed the swing was kind of doing its own thing on its own. and it wasn't windy out.
Scott's convinced that what he saw wasn't normal, but paranormal.
I want people to know that it's authentic. Nothing's been manipulated. It's the real deal.
2 kids from Opelika, Alabama took the time to be kind to their neighbor. The homeowner, Courtney, said their dad, who mows her lawn, accidentally ran over her blueberry bush, so they brought her replacements.
Hi. If you'd like to leave a message, you can do it now.
A moment of kindness she was extremely grateful for.
Brought the blueberries. We feel sad for cutting down your blueberry tree bush. So we brought some blueberry trees. So I hope you like them. There's a package here too, so we're just gonna send them home. See ya.
Look at that dive. Send him to the Olympics. Next up, his buddy. Not exactly the perfect 10.
We've got troopers coming. I'm switching right lanes right now. Get out the way!
This is the frantic 911 call of a man who says his gas pedal was stuck while he was driving on the highway.
Are you able to get your vehicle in neutral? No. Have you tried the emergency brake? Yeah, ma'am, I'm not pulling at no 100 miles an hour, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Police say they were able to get in front of the man's car on I-95 in Florida to clear traffic. Watch as they try to stop the vehicle using spike strips. It took 3 attempts to deflate all 4 tires and a pit maneuver by the officers to completely stop the vehicle. The driver was taken to the hospital for chest pain.
A machete-wielding man cut a fellow motorist on a Florida road. Miami Springs police say this was a road rage incident, another driver captured on video. Although the man got back into his car and drove away, police say he has been arrested. Powerful stories. Impactful investigations.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah.
What? And a little bit of fun.
Your stairs in the pool!
On Inside Edition streaming.
These moments led to blood-curdling screams. In 2023, Bailey Buhacker slipped and slided as she brought in packages from her wet porch. With just one more package to go, Mother Nature decided to say hello.
I saw the lightning first before I heard the boom. As soon as it happened, I texted my mom. I said, you have to go look at the footage from the doorbell because I almost got struck by lightning. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, go look.
In 2022, this mom was checking out her sparkling new garage just as a stranger walked behind her. At first, she's oblivious, and then... that is quite the scream. In May of 2023, cops rushed to the rescue during this emergency. They responded to a 911 call about somebody screaming.
I kept hearing the help, help, and so then initially in my mind, somebody's inside the barn heard.
That's a person.
But it wasn't a person at all. Those wailing screams for help were coming from, wait for it, a goat. The mix-up was understandable.
Oh, it is a goat. And it's, you can't help but to laugh going, that goat is calling for help.
The goat was just stressed over being locked out of his pen so that 2 other goats could mate.
So what you guys heard then were the cries of a jealous goat.
Apparently.
That ear-piercing scream is a child on a 2018 flight to New York. Passengers said it was an 8-hour flight from hell with a non-stop noise. The 3-year-old's mom was overheard telling the flight attendants he had behavioral problems.
Everybody was just kind of looking at each other like, oh, this is going to be a long flight.
What did you just bring in?
That was a steak.
In 2022, this little girl thought she brought home a dead reptile.
Oh, you've got a snake in your hand. And you... Oh, good God.
You can see the realization set in before she dropped the very alive snake. In 2023, this armadillo crossing the road seemed to be friendly.
Jacob, don't touch it. They have nasty stuff.
Until...
Get away from me!
Message received.
A customer at a McDonald's slaps his hot coffee out of the worker's hand, burning her, according to police. The incident happened in Miami Springs, Florida. Video was released of the driver who got into an argument with the window attendant over the amount he was charged, according to investigators. The driver, Elizar Ravello, who was arrested for felony battery, threatened to throw the coffee, police say, and eventually slapped it out of the worker's hand, spilling it, leaving burn marks on her skin.
This squirrel is enjoying a celebratory meal. It just completed 2 months of rehabilitation after being found exhausted and was brought to a vet. It's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed once again, and the vet decided to give it some seeds and chickpeas to keep its energy up.
While on vacation, homeowners from Lancaster, South Carolina decided to check on their cats with 2 very different personalities.
Ozzy! Oh, he heard you.
Ozzy is nice and calm. Smokey, not so much.
Ozzy! Smokey!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Hi, Smokey.
Clearly, Smokey loves attention.
Smokey.
Oh, we love you too,
baby. Oh, she put her paw there. Yeah, no. Oh, that was so cute. That was so cute.
A policewoman took a big hit to stop a group of alleged thieves. It happened in Mexico City. As 3 suspects were making their getaway on a motorbike, a policewoman stepped into their path and got dragged several meters. Reports say she suffered contusions to her head and legs.
It was a good deed that almost went unnoticed. A young man returning a wallet filled with hundreds of dollars and credit cards. His kindness caught on camera. Melissa Vang, the woman whose husband it belonged to, posted the video to Facebook. She says the young man tried ringing her doorbell to return the wallet after her husband dropped it in their driveway, but she didn't want to open the door to a stranger. The young man then shows a security camera on the home what he found, flipping the wallet over to reveal a wad of cash. He backs up to leave it on the couple's doorstep and goes off on his way.
This rat wanted out of New York City.
Holy hell.
Film producer Kevin Coop had a hitchhiker of the hood rat variety.
I just got to way upstate and I brought a rat with me.
For almost 3 hours, the rat rode from Brooklyn up to Roscoe, New York, sometimes up the hood of the car and sometimes under it.
Holy shit. Where'd it go?
Coop didn't mind being an unpaid taxi driver, but he had one request of the runaway rat.
Just don't eat my wires!
A monkey named Momo escaped in an Indiana neighborhood where one resident said they saw it drinking beer from a can in the trash. Momo was captured in front of a house the next day.
This kid senses stranger danger. There are 2 men in that car, and he says they offered him candy and invited him to go for a ride. The 10-year-old goes to open his front door, but it's locked. He calls for his mom as the car backs up.
Mom! Put it down! Get away! Get away!
He screams at the creeps in the car and picks up rocks to throw at them.
Get away! Get away! I was terrified.
Graydon Dowland told me he was walking home from his basketball coach's house outside Salt Lake City at about 6 p.m. when the car pulled up.
Get away!
After yelling and grabbing the rocks, Graydon ran to a neighbor's house. You can see the car following him.
You know, he's a smart kid, and he's a fighter.
It's an eye-opener. You know, it's terrifying, it's sad, it's all the above.
Get away! Get away!
Wells probably isn't an expert at much yet, but he has two-way talk down pat.
Dada, 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 dada.
The 2-year-old from Fresno, California just learned that when he rings his doorbell, Dad Nolan answers while at work at the fire station.
Dada.
Hi, Bubba.
Hi, Dada.
What are you doing?
Did you ring the doorbell?
Who are you looking for? Oh, Dada.
Dada's right here.
And he can check in to make sure he's A-okay.
Is your new favorite thing ringing the doorbell? To find Dada?
Okay. Hey, Dada.
There I am. I love you.
Blow him a kiss.
Natalie on X wants to know, what is my favorite location been for a story? I have seen people that I've worked with get sent to Africa to cover things, to Australia to cover things, to the Caribbean to cover things. They've been on luxury cruise liners. I don't get those assignments, but I've gotten to go to England several times.
The crowd is screaming and roaring.
I've gotten to cover the wedding of Prince William and Duchess Kate, now Princess Kate. I got to cover the wedding of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I got to cover the funeral of Queen Elizabeth. And when King Charles was going to have his coronation, I said, we've done 2 weddings and a funeral. I have to cover the coronation. So I would say the most wonderful place I've gotten to cover is to do all the reporting from England.
Dad distracts his little girl.
I'm pretty sure I see a kitty cat out there.
And swaps her junk food with healthy vegetables.
I guess it's not a kitty cat.
But she's on to him.
What is this?
No way Smarty Pants is gonna fall for this food switcheroo.
It's always a nice gesture when homeowners leave snacks for delivery drivers, until a raccoon steals them. This Jones, Oklahoma resident made gift bags filled with chips, crackers, and cookies. And by the looks of it, those are this thief's 3 favorite food groups.
This Cookie Monster's having a field day when no one's around. But look what happens when she realizes Mom's watching on hidden camera. Time to destroy the evidence.
Rich on Facebook says he remembers watching me on Channel 5, WMAQ in Chicago. He wants to know if there's somebody that I admired growing up who influenced me to get into the news industry. I wanted to be a lawyer until I was a senior in high school and I was in a contest that was televised. And I saw the people who were working behind the scenes. And I thought, whoa, this production stuff looks like fun, but I really liked research of law. So I dreamed up, well, you could do research and production if you were a TV reporter. But the people that I saw on TV before I ever knew I was going to be on TV were Marlene Sanders, one of the first female network anchors, and Nancy Dickerson, who did the news at noon. She had amazing hair. I thought she was beautiful, and I admired her because she was knowledgeable. And because the only women on TV then were the Weather Bunnies. And of course, Nancy Dickerson's son is John Dickerson, who was a huge star at CBS News. So those were the people who were my role models.
It's the photo that's touching everyone. A young man helping an 83-year-old gent down an escalator. The image of them, arms linked, is warming hearts across America. The elderly man was frozen with fear as he stood at the top of an escalator at a mall in Holyoke, Massachusetts. He was terrified to get on, mainly because of a previous frightening experience he once had on an escalator. That's when 23-year-old Alonzo Johnson stepped in.
I saw an elderly man just looking for someone to show that they cared and to help him through fear that he had.
Johnson, who was doing some summer shopping, extended his arm and gently escorted his new pal down the escalator.
We were just talking going down the escalator, and it was more of me just having him talk so he can get his mind off of things. I told him about how his hat looked really nice and how he looked very good for being an 83-year-old man.
Powerful stories that change the way you think. Impactful investigations that change the way you see.
How many times has your car been stolen?
5 times.
Yeah. What? Do you think that you're a responsible owner of tigers?
I damn sure do. I love them. Heartwarming moments that change the way you feel.
I feel amazing.
Now available in a place that changes the way you watch TV. Inside Edition, streaming. What is Inside Edition? It's this. And this. And this. And also this. It's sometimes this. It's never this. but it always brings you more to the story. And now it's always available. Inside Edition streaming.
It's not a pizza topping that was listed on the menu. Deputies say they found a gun inside a pizza box during a traffic stop.